Sorry Baby is a new A24 film. It's a black comedy drama, maybe a black dramedy. It's a film that I think has been out in limited theater release for a few weeks now. I just got a chance to see it. This one is written, directed, and starred. Is it Eva or Ava? I might be getting that wrong. Just either one works, I suppose, for this video. This film also stars Naomi Ackie. You might remember her from Mickey 17 earlier in the year. She was also in that Blink Twice movie that was directed by Zoe Kravitz, came out last year. The story for this is kind of simple, but it's also very complicated. So something really bad happens to this character named Agnes, played by Eva Victor. Something bad happens to her, but yet everybody else's life kind of keeps going on. And so this film deals with the aftermath of this bad thing that happened to her. She has to find a way to move forward like everybody else in her life has. And that's really all I want to say to you, because I knew jack shit about shit going into this movie, and that's how I want you to experience this film. It's kind of weird to see a movie that is not very loud or bombastic or demonstrative, and yet it left me more devastated than maybe any other movie I've seen this year. This is a movie that's not gonna have that Oscar bait scene of like characters screaming at each other where you get to see like somebody really acting their ass off. A lot of the acting, as well as the emotions and everything else in the movie, is kind of subtle, but at the same time, it's one of the best acted, one of the best written, one of the best directed movies of 2025, hands down, no doubt about it. I want to start with how this film looks. You guys know that I'm a nerd and I'm a sucker for a good looking movie. This absolutely is a good looking movie. It is gorgeous in terms of its cinematography and its camera work. The camera work in this movie utilizes a lot of wides, a lot of long takes, a lot of lingering shots. The shots linger and meditate on a particular environment or a particular character. And this actually does a lot to add to the atmosphere that is in this movie. This movie has an atmosphere of dread, tension, and darkness, and despair almost. This is a movie that heavily deals with themes of PTSD, trauma, isolation, and the way that that can affect a person. I like that the camera work and the cinematography is a direct reflection of that. You could call this movie methodical. I would also call this movie very thoughtful. I would also call this movie very quietly emotional. Subtlety and nuance is a thing, or at least it should be a thing, and some movies forget that, but this movie leans heavily into those things. This movie is not really about the bad thing that happens to Agnes in this movie. It's more so about the aftermath of it. It's more so about the emotional impact of it and how that manifests in some very obvious and not so obvious ways. I probably shouldn't go any further without mentioning the performances here. Eva Victor is sensational as this character. This is a character that oozes charisma, but at the same time oozes a lot of emotion and a lot of baggage. They're able to do that a lot of times in this movie without showcasing it in a very outward or obvious way. Naomi Ackie is a rising superstar in this industry, and I feel like a lot of her roles reflect that. More people should talk about her like that. She plays the best friend of Agnes in this movie. They have a very good chemistry. The funniest moments in the movie are from them just talking, and some of their conversations feel like they're just kind of ad-libbing, like they're not even going on script. They're kind of just making shit up, and it kind of works. I also really love the subtle emotion conveyed by the musical score in this movie. A lot of piano work. I love scores that lean heavily into the piano. It just inherently creates a more emotional feeling when you walk out of the theater. This is a movie that deals with some very uncomfortable subjects, and I felt very uncomfortable watching it, and there were some moments during this movie where I felt like I was almost about to cry. As far as what I took away from the movie, I would say this movie is simultaneously about a couple of things. It's about the failure of institutions and just people and everyday decency, like people that are put in positions to help people that either through indifference or nonchalance or helplessness decide not to help people. Specifically as it relates to supporting and believing women when something bad happens to them, it feels like some of the institutions that are in place are not really put there to help them or to believe them, and you wonder why a lot of victims keep quiet about what happens to them. More so, to me, this movie is about trauma and about how it isolates you and the way that it makes you feel lonely, and more importantly, it makes you feel stuck. It makes you feel like you can't move forward. It makes you feel like you're constantly going to be living the same life, and everybody else gets to move forward with their lives because it didn't happen to them. Your life is just constantly stuck in that moment of trauma, and it's like no matter what you do, you're just holding on. This movie handles all of that in a very thought-provoking, very delicate way, and I just can't say enough about the direction of this movie and the writing. Eva Victor, they deserve a round of applause for this. This is one of those type of movies for 2025. As far as issues with the movie, like I said, it's a very deliberately paced movie. I say deliberate, other people are gonna say very slow. It does feel like the pacing drags at different points, and I think some of that is also due to the non-linear-esque vibe that they get from the storytelling. The storytelling here, it kind of takes you to one spot and then it kind of goes back and shows you how you got to that spot. I think sometimes that does lead to some parts of the movie feeling like the storytelling is a little meandering, like you're not really going in a clear direction. And that can probably add to the slow pacing. It didn't bother me a ton, but I do recognize that as maybe an issue people are gonna have with the movie. The black comedy aspect of the movie was definitely very hit or miss for me. Some parts worked, especially when it came to Naomi Accie's character and her relationship with Agnes. Then other parts of it fell really flat for me and it felt weird. I was like, why are characters speaking this way? It's one of those movies I'm not sure how eager I am to revisit, but it's a movie I'm probably gonna be thinking about for the rest of the year. I wrestled for a little bit with this rating, but Sorry Baby absolutely is one of the best of the year. Superman Prime is what it deserves. Those are my thoughts on Sorry Baby. Have you seen it? What is the most emotional movie that you personally have seen this year? Go ahead and put that in the comment section down below. Please like and subscribe to the Superfan Show, and if you like what you see, tell me how you feel and stay tuned to hear more from the Man of Steel. Peace.